Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm bringing you the extra time match review for Wolves 1, Everton 1. A difficult evening in the Midlands for Everton, but the Blues have made it now 8 unbeaten in the Premier League. But we'll start with my starting 11 thoughts. And obviously, I very much expected Abdoulaye Doucouré to come back into the team. That was kind of the lineup I was expecting. I think Moyes obviously he trusts Abdoulaye Doucouré in that attacking midfielder role for the structure. I've said it so many times in various different videos that I think Doucouré is quite imperative to the way we play in terms of in transition, in the way we defend. He does like to set that press a little bit better than, say, Carlos Alcaraz, for example. But in a Moyes setup, I think Abdoulaye Doucouré is very good at doing that. So as I said before, I think that was the lineup I expected going into the game. But just looking at our squad now, it is very depleted. It shows that we do lack a lot of options there. I think it's rinse and repeat every week for the same players, and I think slowly but surely it is going to start taking its toll on the squad. But we'll go into that first half, and it was a slow start, really, wasn't it? No real chances for either side. A game that did look like it was two teams that were in the bottom half of the table rather than at the top of the half of the table. Wolves obviously clearly lacking Matheus Cunha. I think he's a player that's been very good for Wolves this season, and I think a lot of the stuff that Wolves do does go through Matheus Cunha, but I think we looked very tired as well. So two teams that were, you know, really on the back foot this season, and as I said before, I think the tired legs from the repeated lineups that David Moyes is having to trust. I think the tired legs are starting to show now. But the first flashpoint in that first half, it came on 33 minutes, and it was a crossfield ball from Jesper Lindstrom, which found Jack Harrison on the far side in the Wolves penalty area, and he finished very very well. Obviously a big deflection to put it past the goalkeeper, but that did put us 1-0 up. Just fingers crossed now this can be used by Jack Harrison, both Jack Harrison and Jesper Lindstrom, to be fair, because obviously it's Jesper Lindstrom's first assist in an Everton shirt and Jack Harrison's first goal in 36 games. So hopefully this combination of these two, obviously a Jesper Lindstrom assist and a Jack Harrison goal, hopefully this combination on Saturday, we can start seeing that a little bit more. Hopefully they can use that for a bit of confidence now, a little bit of a booster for them. But I think it is very clear that we do need depth in those positions. Obviously, Dwight McNeil's still out injured, Iliman and Jai still out injured. I think it is very clear that we are relying on these two, and obviously bang out of form, bang out of confidence. It's very clear that we do need depth. But that being said, I was happy to see them both combine and obviously put us 1-0 up. It was fantastic. And you're starting to dream again that we're going to go on the road once again and get 3 points. And I think so many times under David Moyes, we've seen that once we do go 1-0 up, it doesn't look like we relent. We kind of carry on going. That was definitely a characteristic under Sean Dyche, that once we did get that 1 goal lead, few and far between were we getting 1 goal leads under Sean Dyche. But if we, by some miracle that we did go 1-0 up under Sean Dyche, we very rarely sat on it in terms of keeping the 1-0 lead. We very rarely look to try and make it 2-0, for example. We would always just sit back and absorb all the pressure until we, eventually snapped. But under David Moyes, it hasn't really been a characteristic of a David Moyes team. We've kind of showed the characteristics to go back forward and try and get a second rather than sit on what we've got. But that being said, our lead didn't really last very long. I think that's again. I keep coming back to this point about tired legs and just a depleted squad, but it was some pretty poor defending from the likes of Idrissa Gana Gueye, Jared Branthwaite for the goal on 40 minutes. It gifted Marshall Monetzi a one-on-one with Jordan Pickford, and he finished very well to score his first Wolverhampton Wanderers goal. In my opinion, I think it was so avoidable, the goal. It would have been so nice to go into the break leading. Obviously, I think it's probably the worst time to concede a goal, just about a couple of minutes before half time. But as I said before, it was so avoidable. But does it just show the tired legs coming into the effect of the squad? Obviously, so many games in so many weeks, it is bound to take its toll with the same players starting week in, week out. But yeah, as I said before, so avoidable. A little mistake from Jared Branthwaite, letting the ball slide through to Marshall Monetzi. And obviously, our lead lasted only 7 minutes going into the break at 1-1. And my half-time thoughts, I'm still thinking that, we do have better quality. I still felt we were the better side, and we just needed to find second gear. As I said so many times in various match reviews, a characteristic of a Moyes team there is a never say die attitude instilled in the team now. I think once we do concede, for example, heads don't go down. I think heads, they tend to stay up, and we carry on playing our way that we have done in recent weeks. But we didn't really get our second gear on Saturday against Wolves, and going into that second half, I think the game itself just lacked a little bit of cutting edge, a little bit of energy. There was no cutting edge for either side. Obviously, as I said earlier in this video, Matheus Cunha is a player for Wolves that they seem to rely on so much for goals. And then also with Everton, us missing the likes of Dwight McNeil, the likes of Iliman and Jai, Beto kind of hitting a little bit of a brick wall in terms of his form. He was fit and firing, a few weeks ago, but him hitting a little bit of a brick wall in terms of his form has kind of taken the sting out of our attack a little bit. Not to say that Beto's doing anything wrong. I just think the chances and the chance creation is a little bit few and far between. Beto was having chances one on one where he had to take one touch in front of goal, whereas now I think he's having to think about his chances a little bit more, and I think that might be killing us up front a little bit. But that being said, in that second half, Carlos Alcaraz came on, and I think he changed the dynamic. He changed the complexion quite well of the game. I think it was a well-needed bit of energy going into that game. Obviously, in midfield, I think it was going to be a game in midfield that it was going to be won or lost in the midfield. Obviously, I said Marshall Monetti. I think he had a good game for Wolves. But that being said, I think Carlos Alcaraz coming on, it did change the complexion. We were creating a little bit more. There was a little bit more energy to what we were doing, and he created a great chance for Beto in behind. But for a great save from the Wolves keeper, Beto obviously would have made it 2-1. So I think it's difficult to say with Beto at the moment because obviously I'm people will know that I'm a fond believer that Beto is he's deserved his chance for so long in an Everton shirt, and think he, as I said before, he has hit a little bit of a brick wall. He's hit a little bit of a dry patch in his scoring, but I do back him to in the West Ham game, for example, next weekend. I do back him to put that behind him. I think he's he is a decent goal scorer on his day, but that being said, I think Carlos Alcaraz is another player that's going to be so vital for us while we've got such a depleted squad because he's creating so many great chances and the energy that he's bringing to the team is massive. But that was it really for the second half, and obviously the game ended 1-1. In my opinion, I think it was a fair result. It obviously takes our unbeaten run to 8 in the Premier League, which is something that we probably wouldn't have dreamed of at the turn of the year, is being 8 unbeaten in the Premier League. But I think it is clear to see that we do need some bodies back in that team. But that is it really for the extra time match review. Obviously, a decent point on the road once again sets us up quite nicely for the West Ham game. Obviously, a tough game at Goodison Park. West Ham seems to be a little bit resurgent now under Graham Potter. So, let me know your thoughts about the Wolves game, and obviously all the goings on with that Wolves game. But also let me know your thoughts ahead of West Ham. Are you confident going into that game? But that is all from me today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.